This is the Bushnell Pro X3 Plus, and it costs $599, and if I'm being totally honest, I don't think you should buy it. Keep watching for my full review and to find out why. Real quick, 2 things you should know. 1, if you are still not sure which rangefinder is right for you, go take our 30-second quiz. You're gonna answer a few questions about what you are looking for, and I will give you my best recommendation on the rangefinder I think is best for you. I think it's going to be super valuable, so I will link to that below. Also, there are links to all the products I mentioned in this video below. As you might imagine, those are affiliate links. If you click the link, buy the product, I'm gonna get a commission. If that bothers you, totally understand, bypass those links, just go to Google, you can search in, you can find the product you're looking for, but I truly don't care what product you buy or if you buy anything at all. I'm just trying to help you make informed buying decisions so that you can find the products that you actually want and are going to be happy with. So take all that for what it's worth, and let's get back to the review. If you know anything about the world of golf rangefinders, you have undoubtedly heard of Bushnell. They are the king of rangefinders for a reason. Historically, they've made the best products, the most consistent products, the most reliable products, and I still think for the most part that is true. This right here is their new for 2024 top of the line Bushnell Pro X3 Plus, and it looks remarkably similar to this, last year's Bushnell Pro X3 without the plus. And aside from the fact the Plus is a little bit of a darker gray and the original X3 is a little bit of a lighter gray, they are essentially the exact same device, save for one big feature. And that is, there is real-time wind data built into the Pro X3 Plus. Sounds kind of cool. But what does that mean in reality? And is this a feature that's actually something that you want or need? And how does it affect the experience? We're gonna talk about that in just a few minutes. Before we get to that, let's talk about first impressions. How does this device look? How does it feel? And how does it compare to other rangefinders on the market? Okay, honestly, the Pro X3 Plus, it's built like a tank. It feels super high quality. It feels very robust. It's on the heavy side, and it's also on the wide side. So the dimensions are the exact same as the Pro X3. So you can go watch my video or read my review about the Pro X3, and for the most part, everything is going to be the same. I personally like a larger rangefinder. I like the fact it feels substantial. I like the weight that comes along with it. For me personally, I feel that weight just makes it easier to make sure I'm locking on to the exact target that I am looking for. Other people, you're not gonna like the weight. If you're more of a minimalist golfer and you want the lightest bag possible, there are a lot of rangefinders that are much smaller and much lighter than this that are gonna do an equally as good of a job at getting you accurate readings. But as you would expect from Bushnell's top-of-the-line rangefinder, build quality is excellent, waterproof case is excellent, and first impressions are, yeah, it's as good as you would think it would be. And it better be for $599. Before we get into some of these other features, let's touch real quick on accuracy. Here's the reality. Pretty much any rangefinder that's like $250, $300 or more, I'm not generally concerned about accuracy. Technology in these rangefinders has gotten very, very good. So in that mid-tier to high price range, assuming the rangefinder can lock on to the right target, it's going to give you accurate distances. That is absolutely true with this. The distances feel perfect. It's super easy to lock onto your target. I have absolutely no issues with accuracy. The Pro X3 Plus is also very fast. So if you just want data, you want it quickly, you want to know it's accurate, this is going to do an awesome job of that. But like I said, for half the price, you can find other devices that are going to do an awesome job of that as well. A couple quick features, we'll give you a quick tour of this. There are 2 buttons on top. The power button, which doubles as the range button. So you tap it once to turn it on, you tap it again to get your distance, very easy. The mode button, you hold this down to get into Bluetooth pairing mode, as well as to change from meters to yards. And yes, I did say Bluetooth pairing mode. We're gonna talk about that in just a second, because that's where, for me, this device starts to get a little bit questionable. In a nice design feature, the Bushnell logo right here is actually a button. So you can push this and it will change from black text to an illuminated red text. So if the lighting conditions aren't great, if you're having trouble seeing black against a dark background, you can light that up as red just by hitting this button, which works really well. And at $600, as you would imagine, there is slope mode built in, so it will give you an adjusted distance based on the elevation of the green. But where this thing really stands apart is with its slope with elements feature. Not only is it going to factor in if your target is above you or below you, it will also look at barometric pressure, it'll look at temperature, and you can put in an altitude, so it's gonna factor all of that in to give you a true plays-like distance. The one thing that is a little odd about this is the whole reason for bringing out the Plus is to add wind data. Yet, as I understand it, that wind data is not captured in the plays-like distance. There are separate numbers for wind. So you'll get your true plays-like distance and you'll have the wind data, and you're still having to do a little bit of calculating to figure out what that number is going to be for you. Super high tech, super cool. Is it necessary for most people? Probably not. I also am not necessarily a huge fan of the way this slope mode works. There's a little locking mechanism right here, and so you basically just pull that down and then you push this up or down depending on how it works. I kind of liked the old one where it was just like a little switch built into the logo. That's how it works on the lower end V6. You just flip the switch right here. Very easy. This is kind of like a two-handed operation. So you basically have to push this down and push and pull. I guess I understand it if you're a tournament player, you want to make sure that that doesn't get moved into slope mode during a tournament. But for the average person, I've just found it to be kind of like one extra step that's a little annoying personally. Okay, so generally speaking, it's super accurate, it's fast, the build quality is unmatched. So why would I not recommend it? Well, there's a couple reasons for this. So first off, the new feature in the Plus, as I've mentioned, is it adds wind data. But to do that, it adds an extra layer of complication in the fact you have to download the Bushnell Golf app, you have to make sure that it's paired to the device, and then you also have to wait every time you look into it for it to connect with the app and give you that wind data. So it's adding a whole lot of extra work on your part for data that I just don't think is that useful. It's basing its wind data off whatever the nearest weather station is to you, but if you're in an area where there's like swirly wind or it's really variable, you can pick up some grass and see what the wind's doing probably more accurately than what this is going to tell you. And while generally, yes, it's a nice data point to have. If you said, well, you could have wind data or no wind data, you'd probably say, cool. Give me the data. But what I found, and I've found this with other GPS devices sometimes as well, is that it will often disconnect from the app. And all you have to do to reconnect it is just open up the app. Like literally open up the Bushnell app and it's almost immediately reconnected. But the whole point of a rangefinder is to get accurate yardages as quickly and painlessly as possible. So if I open it up, there's no wind data, I gotta go back, I gotta pull open the app, it's gonna connect, and then this whole thing will start vibrating. And you'll know it's like pulsing, vibrating. What it's doing is waiting to get that wind data. And so often I'll wait like 15, 20 seconds before the wind data actually populates. And that means I'm spending more time sitting here. I'm having to wait for my shots. I'm holding up my playing partners. It just kind of got in the way of my round more than it helped me with it. One of the things I've also loved about Bushnell rangefinders is the display. And this has 7x magnification optics, so it looks awesome. Like the glass is excellent, but I've also always liked Bushnell's text that they put onto that display because it's generally pretty minimal. It doesn't feel overly cluttered. I'm not having to look at a bunch of things to get my data. It's just pretty streamlined. Well, now with this, you've got your slope data, it's giving you a Bluetooth symbol, you've got battery, you've got the yardage, and you've got the wind data. All of a sudden, there's a whole bunch of stuff in the viewfinder that I just don't necessarily love. If you flip slope mode off, then almost all of that goes away and you're back to that super clear, super streamlined view that I really like, but you're not spending $600 on a device like this if you're not using slope. You can spend half of that on the Bushnell V6 without slope, and it's going to give you just as accurate yardages and it's going to weigh less, and while the build quality might not quite be the same, it's still very, very good. So I guess with all of this, I just kind of question a couple decisions. So for instance, if you're going to go through the process of pairing this with the app and have the communication between the viewfinder and the app, that's cool tech. There haven't been that many rangefinders that could do it. There was a device called the Precision Pro R1, which was one of the first smart devices that came out that had GPS data in the viewfinder of your rangefinder that I thought was really cool. There were some issues with that device, so they discontinued it, but like right now, as we speak, they're coming out with their new Titan rangefinder, which is essentially everything they learned from the R1 and everything they needed to improve on it. The Titan is going to do that, and it's going to cost far less than this. So where am I going with this? Well, my point is, if you're connecting to an app and you're using GPS, and you can give me GPS yardages, like you can show me the front, middle, and back of the green, along with the actual laser distance to the flag, that's super useful. It's like, okay, the flag's 160, it's 143 to the front and 174 to the back. That gives me really useful data. The wind data just isn't as useful. So if all the tech was basically the same to do that, I still have to pair, I still have to connect to Bluetooth, I still have to do all this, why wouldn't you give me the GPS data, which is more useful than the wind data? And while I haven't tested the Titan yet, it's going to have those GPS distances, which I think is going to be really intriguing, and I think that's going to be a new device to watch out for. If you're watching this and the Titan is out, and you like the idea of a smart rangefinder with some of those GPS distances, I would definitely take a look at that. One other thing I will mention with all of this is with that extra complication, with the wind data, with the magnet that's built in, it's a great magnet by the way, very strong, you also have to calibrate this from time to time. So sometimes the internal compass can get thrown off by some of those elements, so you have to go into calibration mode, you have to turn the device to make sure that it does the thing. It's just a whole bunch of extra work for not a whole lot of extra value. And when you're spending $600 on a device, I want everything to be easy to use, value, and actually, giving me something that's genuinely useful. Also, I forgot to mention, this has pin seeker with visual jolt, so it actually will lock onto the flag, it will vibrate when it locks onto the flag, and it will give you a visual indicator with a big red circle around the viewfinder to let you know that it has locked onto the flag and you have an accurate distance. So final thoughts. Is the Pro X3 Plus one of the best rangefinders on the market? Yes. For all of the rangefinder things you need it to do, build quality, speed, accuracy, optics, all of that stuff, it is phenomenal. It's probably the best overall rangefinder out there. But adding the GPS complications, adding that wind data, the fact that you will occasionally have to repair it and then wait for it, and it does take some time. The whole implementation I just haven't found to be that useful, and in fact it's detracted from my experience because it's made me take more time with the rangefinder. So the Pro X3 Plus for $600, it is an excellent rangefinder. If you use it without all that wind data, I think it is probably as good as it gets. But you can go get an older Pro X3 that does all of the exact same stuff. And right now, at least as it sits in early May, you can get it for $500 on Amazon versus the new one, which is $600. And so I would do that all day long, personally. And along those same lines, rangefinders have just gotten really, really good at really good price points. The Cobalt Q6 at $450, one of my all-time favorite rangefinders. That's probably the one I've personally used the most. The Precision Pro NX10 at under $300, excellent. It's one of the most enjoyable rangefinders to use. The Titan I just mentioned from Precision Pro, that's going to come in right around $300, maybe a little bit more, and that's going to have all the built-in GPS data as well as the great usability of the NX10, and it's going to be a fraction of the price of either the Pro X3 or the Pro X3 Plus. So there's options. Is the Bushnell Pro X3 Plus an excellent rangefinder? Yes. Aside from all the new features, which I honestly don't love. But do you need to spend that amount of money to get accurate yardages and a device that's going to work really well for you? No, you don't. So if you do want kind of that best of the best in terms of build quality features and that brand recognition, I would probably try and seek out a Pro X3. As it sits right now for $600, I probably wouldn't buy the Pro X3 Plus. If you were watching this down the line and you see sales on it and this comes down to $550 or $500 or maybe even $450 if we get a like Black Friday sale or something, yeah, definitely worth considering. Or if you just want the best of the best and you don't care about those functions and you're not going to use them, definitely consider them. But I just don't see for most people the wind data being worth the hassle of getting that data. So take that for what it's worth. With that, my name's Sean Ogle. I'm the founder of this thing here at Breaking 80, where we talk about cool golf products and cool golf courses. Do all the YouTube things, subscribe, comment, like, whatever, and I hope you have an excellent day, and we will see you on the next video. Peace.